Zamouni, who's Executive Director, Government Affairs and Public Policy in the UAE at SAP. We're going to have also Amit Gupta, who's President AI at Eon Enterprise. And last but not least, Meet Gunay, who's EMA Executive Director, Vice President, Market Development at Mastercard.
Well, hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I am Budour Mousa, presenter at Forbes Middle East, and I'm honored to be a moderator for this panel discussion titled AI for Better and Safer World. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed speakers, Mr. Mohammed Al Mudharreb, Chief AI Officer and CEO, Corporate Technology Support Services at RTA. Welcome, Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Amin Al Executive Director, Government Affairs and Public Policy in the UAE at SAB. Welcome. Mr. Metta Gooni, EEMEA Executive Vice President, Market Development at Mastercard. And last but not least, Mr. Amit Gupta, Vice President, Data and AI and Enterprise. Thank you so much for joining us. So we have only 60 minutes. So without further ado, I will start with Mr. Mohammed. Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. So I will start our conversation by talking about the balance between enforcing rules and educating people to ensure safety. And this is a very important topic.
Yes, indeed. It is a very important topic. First, let me start with it's a privilege to be here with you as part of this prestigious panel with my fellow panelists. About your question and looking at the let's say the area that we are responsible for at the Roads and Transport Authority, enforcement and education. Now we are responsible for the safety of people on the road, and the journey within RTA starts from the minute that the individual applies for a driving license. If you will look at this journey and how we have employed AI, it starts with this individual applying for the driving license, going to the school to get the sessions, the theory sessions, and so on. But when it goes to the practical test or the practical training, when he gets into the car, we have employed a system that is powered by AI that provides an objective assessment to each individual that can be referred to using a recorded video and precise, let's say, list of areas of improvement, or if this particular individual has already or passed this particular test in a very good way. The thing is, having such a system available within RTA avoids the subjectivity. And by avoiding subjectivity, each single individual who goes through the learning, let's say, the learning side of getting a driving license, gets a complete report about his behavior, how he has behaved, and what are the areas of improvement for him to improve his driving skills. Now, let's speak also about another aspect. When it comes to the way how we manage roads, we have established something called, maybe some of you have heard about it. We have established something called the Enterprise Command and Control Center within the RTA. It controls the entire ecosystem of mobility within the city of Dubai. It gathers large amount of information and data, and those being processed by artificial intelligence tools that gives you the, let's say, the overview how the transportation looks like in terms of supply and demand, and also from a safety perspective. In fact, yesterday, we have, or the day before, we have signed an MOU with one of the companies who was going to use a computer vision to detect and analyze every road accident that will tell the control room or the different control rooms on what is the severity of this incident and what is the response plan based on the severity of each incident. So we call the, let's say, the blue light services, whether the ambulance or the police, precisely at the severity of the incident itself. There are many examples, but I know that we are limited with time, and I would like to give the chance to the other panelists as well. But this is in a nutshell. Maybe I will mention another example related to the public transportation system that we have. A lot of people, they use the public buses. We have employed an AI-based fatigue control system. And this system monitors the behavior of the driver. Does he pay attention? Is he using his phone? The amount of hours that he has been on duty. So we measure those metrics, and based on it, we assign the drivers for the different schedules that we have. Believe it or not, this system, we call it the Raqib system. This system by itself reduced accidents caused by bus drivers by 65%.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Amazing, amazing achievement.
So, and we do have a plan to roll out a similar system also to the taxi fleet within the Emirate of Dubai. So this is in a nutshell what we do in terms of improving the safety level in Dubai and how we employ AI in doing so.
Yeah, we will talk more, of course, later. Now, let's hear from Mr. Amit Gupta. Hello, how are you? I'm so happy to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as we all know, deepfakes are now is a global major topic today. Do you use this technology, and how important is it for your work?
Okay, I think you've raised a very important point here. So there is a very fine line between creative innovation and potential misuse. But I think what you need to do is you use AI more responsibly so that you can get decisive actions and inputs from that. And deepfakes are there everywhere today. We are talking about phishing scams. We're talking about people using images for potential misuse, etc., whether it's politically or any other purpose. And there is responsible AI where we are talking about how to control all of that, right? So at EAND, for example, we value individual digital identities. It's very, very important. And therefore, we do a lot of work to regulate that to ensure there is no leaks, there is complete responsible AI implemented, ethical practices implemented. We have large frameworks, governance frameworks, which do that. And AI, of course, can be used for a lot of good purposes as well. For example, we are currently working with the Environmental Agency Abu Dhabi, and we are building the State of Environmental Portal, which tracks everything across the environment, across air, water, climate, etc., in real time. And there are many AI use cases inbuilt into it, which can forecast and predict all of these responsibly. And therefore, we ensure all of this is according to various governance practices and frameworks, and it is measured in real time. There's another thing that we are doing with one of the credit bureaus in Africa, and we are doing alternative scoring with them. So how to better the credit score for customers, how to give more credit to different parties. Along with that, we're also doing data governance, because that credit bureau actually owns the data of the entire country, right? So it's very important that you monitor and ensure all the practices are in place to cater to that.
But overall, what do you think about it? About the deepfake?
Deepfakes will exist. I think there comes how to kind of ensure you have risk mitigation practices in place and get the most out of AI, because at the end of the day, AI has both sides, right? So it can be misused, but it can also be used, right? So I think somebody was talking in the morning, there was a session where you brought across historical figures into life, right? And that's the proper use of GenAI, the good use of GenAI. You can help people with disabilities, right, in better communication using AI avatars. So it's how you use it. At the end of the day, you need to use it in a proper way. You need to have guardrails that safeguard you against all of the issues like deep fakes, and you have to build a sustainable AI.
Thank you, Mr. Amit. Now I want to talk about the safety. So let's hear from Mr. Amit Zaraoni. Hello, Mr. Amit.
Hi, Budour.
Nice to have you here. So, in your view, what truly makes a city feel safe beyond just the technology?
Beyond technology, then I have to remove my professional hat and answer this as a citizen of Dubai. I think this is more psychological rather than based on facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the feeling of peace of mind that you get when you live in a city. That you can commute day and night freely, and you can trust that the community that you live in cares about your safety and your protection. You can travel, have faith that your neighbor will report if there is an incident or undesired behavior happening in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
That these kind of feelings are crucial. It's more of a people and cultural element that actually ensures that safety feeling. Public places, if they are desirable, that you can actually go to parks, playgrounds, bus stations, metros, subways, as long as they are well maintained, well designed, people are actually, they have more desire to basically go to these places and use these services that are available that contributes to the safety of the city. It's more of the availability of trust and the absence of anxiety. If I am living in a city where I feel that I am monitored, there are cameras watching me, there are police in every corner, then obviously I will be, my risk factor will be high and I will not feel safe. I will always be in a cautious mode that something could happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we don't feel in Dubai, although the city is well equipped when it comes to technology point of view. There are surveillance everywhere, but you don't see it. As long as you don't see it with your eyes, but you trust that it exists, that gives you the safety feeling.
Interesting view, Mr. Amin. Now I would like to hear from Mitte Buli. Hi, how are you?
Thank you
So, Mr. Mitte, as we know, small businesses are often the easiest targets for security risks. So, what steps are you taking to protect them?
Well, as Mastercard, we are operating an ecosystem of 3 billion cardholders, 150 million shopping locations,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of financial institutions, as well as technology providers, fintechs, and many others.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about an ecosystem and protecting an ecosystem, you cannot only talk about protecting and making one single party secure. Imagine that you want to protect your house. You can do everything at your house, but if your neighborhood is not safe, then you will still be exposed to a lot of risk, right? So that's why everything around you should be as safe as your own case, if not better. This is why in our ecosystem we have very large corporations, small businesses, consumers, government entities. Everyone in the ecosystem needs to be as good as the others. Imagine that you are a thief and you will rob a house. Would you try an empty house or a house of a rich person, right? That's why, in fact, these thieves, fraudsters, will be going after big wins. But sometimes these large corporations have enough funding to build their systems, to have the right precautions in place, IT systems, and educate their kind of employees to get ready for such a case. But the problem is you are also working with many other third parties. The biggest fraud case in US was for a retailer. And guess how it happened? Their AC vendor, which is an extremely small company, had a connection to their system. And this connection was not secure. And just because a small AC vendor, your connection to an AC small vendor was not secure, despite all your investment into your technology, they had to suffer the biggest fraud incident in US.
Right.
So that's why we have to make sure that whether it is a small business, whether it is a large corporation, everyone needs to be the highest standards of security.
Totally agree, Mr. Mutharreb.
And how can we do that? You know, yes, I mean, this trend of digitization comes with lots of risk. But on the other hand, it gives us the opportunity to collect a lot of data from multiple different parties. And Mastercard, we call it connected intelligence because we see the origination of transactions, we see the endpoint of transactions, we see what is happening in LAC, we see what is happening when you try to authenticate your identity. There are many different transaction categories, many different use cases that we see, and we can utilize this information to come up with different solutions. And at Mastercard, we have two roles. We have to build some capabilities that should be kind of to the level of at least the fraudsters and even better, but also make sure that this is embedded into everything we do so that we can protect the ecosystem.
That's amazing, of course. Now back to Mr. Mohammed. Actually, I'm excited to hear more about how RTA, using AI and other technologies in real life and practice. Tell us more, please.
Okay.
Actually,
There
not
is-
only me, all
There is
of
a lot.
the audience.
Yeah, there is a lot to cover here.
Yeah.
First of all, I have shared in one of the sessions this week interesting figures about our chatbot. We call it Mahbub. Now, if we compare Mahbub and the scale of Mahbub, it's being categorized as one of the largest chatbots within the region. And the reason is it is a transactional chatbot. Very rarely that we see a chatbot that understands who you are and knows your profile, knows the cars that you have under your traffic file, for example. If you would like to pay your funds, if you would like to renew your vehicles, you can continue doing so using the chatbot itself without directing you to any other external links or payment links or whatsoever. So you can continue the transaction within the chatbot itself. If we will look at some of the numbers as a success factor, what we have achieved so far out of our chatbot, we have over 23 million transactions or chats, conversation that happened with the customers. Now imagine if you will convert those 23 million conversation and you would like to divert them to customer service agents. How many agents you would require to handle all of these conversations? It generated a revenue as a channel of over 80 million dirhams over the past period. And also, it has over 300 services, out of which 30 of them are a complete transactional services, which means that you do not need to leave the chat to perform or to continue the service till it's a complete journey. Now, another aspect that I have mentioned briefly, probably, that we have the Enterprise Command and Control Center. And this is considered to be one of the largest control rooms in terms of data being collected on a daily basis. The center monitors over 10,000 cameras, traffic cameras across the city of Dubai. And it does a data infusion using artificial intelligence to give an overall mobility situation about the city of Dubai. And this has helped us a lot in managing a lot of complex incidents, events. One of the major events that we usually manage it through the Enterprise Command and Control Center is New Year Eve. And New Year Eve, a lot of people know the people density that happens around Burj Khalifa area. In the early days, before having this facility available within Dubai, we used to evacuate the area by around 4 or 5 a.m. Now, with the availability of this facility and the coordination we do through this facility with all our partners to manage this event, we were able to evacuate the entire area post-event at around 2 a.m. this is a remarkable achievement. And without the Enterprise Command and Control Center and its capability that is powered by AI, we wouldn't have achieved what we have achieved so far. Now, also when it comes to embedding artificial intelligence within our daily operations, there are a lot of examples, and I can maybe mention endless numbers of examples.
Yeah.
But some things, a big highlight that I would like to mention here, that yesterday we have announced our AI strategy. Within this AI strategy, we will be having 81 projects that will cover the entire operations of RTA, operations and services. We will be creating, let's say, an entire ecosystem where the entire city or the mobility system within Dubai is operated by artificial intelligence.
It's amazing to hear how mobility solutions are evolving. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. Now, on the corporate side with Mr. Amit Gupta, you are working with IBM on AI ethics. Can you tell us more about the project, especially how you handle real-time monitoring of AI systems?
Okay, thank you. So over the last year, Ian, I think we've rolled out the region's most comprehensive responsible AI framework. And we've been working very hard on that, incorporating all possible features so that the framework is robust and sustainable. And with IBM, what we are doing is rolling out AI governance. Today we have more than 1,100 use cases with more than 150 people working on data and AI. Implementing, executing, monitoring, tracking all of these use cases. And with IBM, we've developed an AI governance tool which helps us monitor all of these in real time. So, earlier what we used to do as part of governance is launch the model, look at the output, and see if it is measure it against the accuracy parameters or what you wanted the outcome to be. Right? Where are you in terms of the quality of outcome? But now this is proactive. This is real time, and you have various kind of dashboards to see not only how the model quality is, but also is it meeting the norms? Is it meeting the regulatory requirements? Is it meeting the compliance processes that we have put in place? So all of that in real time, you can actually start taking action. You don't have to wait till the end where you get an output and you're completely unsatisfied with it. You can start making small minor changes and implement that and get the output. So that's what we are doing with IBM, and that enables us to monitor all the solutions that we deployed in UAE. So we have today more than 900,000 IoT devices installed, more than 13,000 connected cameras installed, more than 800,000 fire alarm systems installed in UAE. So all of that with AI getting implemented needs to be monitored and tracked, and that's what we're doing with the IBM system. And if you look at what's happening in terms of risk, you see cybersecurity risk coming up in a big way with more internet penetration, with more social media. We spoke about these fakes. We have a cybersecurity company called HelpAG, which kind of monitors that in real time. And what we have built with them now is lots of AI use cases which actually can predict vulnerabilities, which can actually predict malware before it happens. So that's why we are able to prevent all of that. And all of that then links back to our IBM AI governance engine, which is actually monitoring and testing and taking care of all of that.
For sure, amazing, Mr. Amit. Now, next to Amin Al Zaraoni, Mr. Amin, which technologies have made the biggest impact improving safety for cities and businesses?
I wish I can be selfish here and say SAP technologies, but I would like to basically, before I answer the question, I would like to say that in the past, we had different methods of how to basically we measure or monitor safety. And I'm pretty sure there are always these memes about the grandma that's always watching the community and looking at unknown people walking within the community. In the Emirati culture, we had Shabab al-Farij, where there's basically the teenagers that are sitting outside and they look at unknown cars or unknown people that are actually entering the town, and they will report it immediately, and they will always go and stop these people and question them. The method is the same, but the approach changed. We started using IoT, we started using surveillance cameras, we started using machine learning to basically understand these people are not the same people that entered the premise.
Yeah.
But reality made me realize that there are, as much as the technology advances, there are certain channels that are much more powerful. And I would like to share a story here with everybody.
Yeah.
I was traveling and I noticed that there were so many notifications coming on my phone, and I managed to access that 10 minutes late. And I realized that the surveillance system in my house is basically notified me that there are unknown or like unusual behavior happening in the garden. I wrote my wife immediately and I told her what's going on. And she said, yeah, I noticed some sounds outside of the garden, and there's like unknown behavior. I couldn't basically recognize it. And I said, what did you do? She said, I reported it in the mom WhatsApp group. And then I was speechless because I realized that that was much faster than me noticing the notification that came in my phone. And that is even much faster than maybe having a phone call and reporting the incident. And I even started thinking about it that even these mom WhatsApp group are the biggest commerce platform. I believe that they actually do much more buying on these platforms. So, that kind of, I believe all the moms are clapping. But so I think if we imagine the more connected technologies, similar to what Mohammed has mentioned when it comes to integrated command center, linked to the IoT devices that are being integrated in vehicles, taxis, buses, cameras in the street. In the past, we had cameras that basically take a snapshot or live feed, but now we have cameras that actually can recognize, can predict, and can take actions in many cases. So the evolvement of interconnected and connected systems and technologies is what basically is the advancement when it comes to safety risk.
Amazing answer. Now, Mr. Mehta Gunay, should AI-generated content and deepfakes be labeled to ensure transparency? What's your position on regulation in this space?
Well, the amount of change that we are going through is overwhelming. There is this law of accelerated returns. Basically, it says that the progress that we are making is always accelerating. And in terms of data points, what happened in the 20th century was achieved only in the first 14 years of our century. And what we will see going forward is not like just the deep fakes. We will be hearing AI-generated fraud. We will be hearing AI hacking AI. So there will be many new terms and
I think
different types
you
of.
have something to say.
This is about future, and this is why I'm interested. So we will see many different ways of how fraudsters will be trying to kind of make the systems fail. And how can we protect ourselves? I think this is the most important question. In the end, they are looking for the smallest vulnerability. They are looking for the weakest chain, again, going back to the example of our ecosystem.
Yeah.
And again, using the same analogy, when you want to protect your house, we said that you also need to make sure that your neighborhood is protected, right? This is very important. But are you feeling safe only with that? No. We still lock our doors at night. In Dubai, you don't need to, but in other countries, you do. Right? Then you might deploy CCTV systems. You might even have a dog at home in case a stranger comes up. And you need to educate your kids about what is happening again in the neighborhood. And basically, this is a multi-layer protection system. And this is exactly what we need to deploy in the case of financial services. You cannot rely on only one solution or only one party to protect everything. And basically what we need to do is assessing the level of risk in every scenario, and utilize required solution based on the level of risk. And again, this is where data comes to our help, because we can easily detect abnormal behavior, unusual behavior, and based on that, we can immediately change the way we treat this specific transaction. And on top of that, now we have access to threat intelligence. What is happening in the dark web? In fact, Mastercard recently made lots of acquisitions on that front. And what we are doing is, again, going back to the topic of connected intelligence, we are utilizing all this intelligence from dark web to understand what is the next target of fraudsters and prepare them for that attack. And this is only how we can protect the ecosystem. We cannot rely only on one single solution. We need to assess the risk of every single transaction. We can collect data as much as possible from different sources and treat every case with the required level of precaution and risk so that we can protect our ecosystem.
So, how can governments, in your view, use AI without risking people's privacy? You want to talk about the privacy?
You know, this is a very sensitive topic. And in the end, we need to always some trade-offs. But of course, respecting the privacy of people and make sure that they don't feel disturbed and they don't feel like someone is watching whatever they are doing, right? And that comes with trust. And this is, again, the single most important element in the case of financial services. How do you choose your bank? How do you choose your, decisions based on the advice?
Yeah.
If you trust your advisor, you will follow that, right? If you trust your bank, you will be working with them. But the moment trust is gone, then I think you will see that the consumer behavior will be changing. And that's why, irrespective of what we are doing, how we are leveraging data, we need to make sure that this trust is still there. And the first way of doing it is giving transparency to consumers. How, if we will be using their data, they need to know how we will be using it, which data sets we will be utilized for that purpose, and how we will be managing this data, but also giving the right to consumers that, and the confidence that this data is also protected. Assume that all data is stored somewhere and this is being hacked. Can you imagine the implications? But again, everything goes back to the point of trust.
Yeah.
As long as we have trust in the system, I think everyone will be okay with their data being utilized for their security and managing and securing the entire ecosystem.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Over to Mr. Mohammed. So we are in Dubai, so we are already in the future. But when do you expect that driverless cars or delivery robots and drones to become a normal part of daily life in Dubai? And if there is a challenges, what is it?
Now, Dubai is the city of the future,
Of course.
and Dubai is putting a lot of effort to distribute this concept not only within the city of Dubai but also worldwide. And Dubai has put the foundation for all of this. Now, RTA with the autonomous has started. With autonomous has started as early as Dubai Metro when it was launched back in 2009, 2009, as the longest driverless metro in the world back then. Next, we have announced a lot of initiatives related to the air taxi. Maybe back in 2017, we have started this journey.
Yeah.
And it kept on evolving. We have been through a lot of regulation, alteration, and so on to allow us to operate such a system safely. And then we came into the era of autonomous driving. And we started the journey back in year 2020. And last week we have announced also another partnership with Budour that we will be starting trial very soon. So on the other hand, also, Dubai hosts a lot of events and seminars. Maybe one of them is the self-driving challenge that we do it twice or once every 2 years, where we invite all companies and the academia also to come and participate. And this is our contribution to the global community also to introduce those level of driving modes. Now, when it comes to the challenges, there are a few. I'll be honest with you. One of them is the safety of the system that we will be running, because we will be transporting people. Safety is key, and there is zero compromise on safety. The second thing is the infrastructure. Does it suit the mode of transport that we would like to introduce? Like, for example, if we are talking about drones, those drones need helipads available for people to park their car or to be connected to near a metro station or a bus station for them to use it as a mobility solution. Next comes regulation. Regulation is key to manage the risk and also give the rights for both, for the entity who operates this particular transportation mode and also for the customers. The last but not least is cybersecurity. Now all of these modern systems, they run on technology. So cybersecurity becomes an important subject that needs to be taken care of whenever you think about applying those new technologies. Now, when it comes to the last part of your question, how soon we will see this is becoming normal in Dubai, and we see it everywhere. As mentioned, Dubai is putting a lot of effort, but those are emerging modes of transport. If I will say 5 years from now, next year it might become 3. The pace of change in this field,
Dubai always surprises us.
yes, the pace of change is this field, that it is so fast that you are not able to predict when you will see it as normal. Look at AI, the event that we are here in Dubai now. Who has predicted that it will become such a hot topic worldwide 2 years ago? Okay, so imagine what's going to happen next year with different announcements. Now people are talking about agentic AI, artificial general intelligence, and they are speaking about those systems being evolved in the next 3 years. But personally, looking at the pace of change, I see them happening maybe as soon as 2026 or even before.
The future is closer than we think, of course, Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Amit, so how do you evaluate the business value of AI while monitoring its risks? Is there an objective way to assess this?
Yes, there is, and there has to be, because when we talk about AI, at the same time, we're also talking about ROI of AI, right? So, Mohammed here mentioned a lot of cases where there's a lot of ROI getting through various use cases. You mentioned the chatbot, that's amazing. But I think what we have, we need to have a system, a process which is institutionalized so as to measure the impact, and that's what we have at EAN. I mentioned we have more than 1,100 use cases, and what we have established is a value realization office. That's something that keeps monitoring, checking. Are we getting the value that we expected to have at the beginning? How is it matured? And what is happening today? So all of that is measured on a dynamic, real-time basis once the model is implemented. And we look at value in AI not just whether it's cost efficiency or revenue maximization or productivity, but we also look at value AI as a strategic enabler. So it's just not about one use case or two use cases. It's about all of them, what is the combined value that they are giving to the organization? Because they're also preparing us for the future. There's also soft value which kind of emerges out of this. So therefore, we look at AI as a strategic enabler. And if you look at the type of use cases, I'll tell you how we measure one of the use cases which is very common, which is a hyper-personalized engine or next best action that we do for our telco customers. And here we look at, of course, we look at the conversions, but we also look at the NPS. So how satisfied was the customer after taking the offer? and we are looking at very high NPS because it's completely hyper-personalized, right? For the customer design, the offer design for the customer at the right time with the right communication channel. So that's the kind of tracking and measurement that we do, and that is what I think every organization should do. This is just an example of one use case, but going forward, it's very important that we are able to measure the real impact of AI, and it's just not in that particular use cases, but overall, because behaviors are changing, customer behaviors are changing because of the use of AI. And today we are talking about agentic AI. We are already working on developing AI agents for various personas, right? So one of the agents that we are currently working is called a data governance agent, which will actually do all the functions of a data governance person independently. And we are talking about agents developing new agents. So we are talking about AI making new AI, and that is actually going to be the future. So how do you measure the impact of one agent actually creating another agent, or two agents talking to each other? Are they doing it in the right fashion, in the right way? So these are some of the aspects that will become more important in the future with agentic AI.
Yeah. So, Mr. Amir, you have always interesting stories. So, what is the biggest risk you see with AI, and how do you handle it?
Multiple, I would say. Um, First of all, whatever has been mentioned when it comes to AI evolution, and people are talking about agentic AI, we are at a very early stage. We are not too far to achieve where AI agents can actually talk to each other, but we are at the early stage as we experiment on this field. And as we experiment, we need to basically level up the awareness and the education level. So many people talk about AI at a very high level point of view, but there is a lack of deep knowledge of actually how it actually works and what it could touch and what could it affect. We are also blessed to be in a place where the regulations and policies are adapting fast to equip the right entities, be it in the government sector or private sector, to utilize AI responsibly and ethically. And this is, I would say, one of the main topics when it comes to utilization of AI or the risks of AI. How can I ensure that AI is responsible not just at the utilization stage, but also at the development phase, from development houses all the way to integration layers and all the way to what kind of data it can access and what kind of contextual data it actually can create. And this is, I believe, one of the things that is extremely important, and we look at it at SAP, is where as we also in this journey of building agentic AI and AI agents on top of data layers, we look at integrating it with the application level, with all the transactional systems that SAP has invested in over the last 5 decades, to create much more contextual intelligence that it's not only about analyzing and predicting, it's more about reaching to the level of becoming autonomous. And all that reduces risks when it comes to quality, when it comes to type of data it can access, at what level. And it also brings risk when it comes to regulations and policy. Will that data be residing within the country? If I'm dealing with data that has to do with healthcare sector or defense sector, it's different than when I'm interacting with data that has to do with banking sector. Same goes with, in the future, yesterday we heard His Excellency Mohammed Al Mudharreb talk about the future of having digital twins and AI agents basically guiding us and supporting us in our career. How can I secure that that digital twin is not communicating with entities that could produce risks for me as an individual or as a country? All these has to have a strong governing model so that we can actually adapt and utilize the technology.
So, by mentioning AI agents, are there any recent advancements in how AI agents can improve safety for individuals or businesses or cities?
Yeah, I would refer to one of the major investments that we are making in SAP, where we are utilizing the transaction system that exists across different entities, building data layers on top of it, and then building AI agents that actually can create contextual data, accessing structured and unstructured. Imagine AI agents talking across the value chain or across the supply chain, where basically, for example, when it comes to safety measures, AI agents that are responsible of monitoring, understanding the data that comes from surveillance cameras, IoTs, can immediately communicate with the AI agents that sits in the command center houses or control rooms, and then it can immediately integrate with, for example, emergency services. We can extend that to go all the way to the healthcare system. If there are emergency cases that would require beds available in a specific hospital, it can immediately trigger the ambulance that these are the destinations that you actually can take. I would involve the agents from the road and transport, and it will basically automatically start planning the route and schedule the right traffic lights to basically change so that it can fast moving the cars before even the ambulance start utilizing that road. So I think there is a huge potential of how this interconnected system can be achieved and how AI agents can play a role.
Insightful, Mr. Amin. Now, back to Mr. Mitte. You have used, of course, many technologies to protect users. What was the one truly stood out or made the biggest impact?
Well, this is a never-ending journey. We need to keep evolving, enhancing our existing solutions. We need to keep acquiring new capabilities because we need to be on top of that journey to make sure that our ecosystem is safe. But I think in general, we are approaching this topic from the wrong side, wrong angle. We are talking about technology, we are talking about data, what is going to change. But in the end, at the center of everything, there is only one single thing.
Yeah.
It is people. It is human beings. Everything starts with us, everything ends with us. And this is why, whatever technology we use, whatever advancement we embrace, we only need to think about people. And first and foremost, we need to increase the awareness of people about both the risks as well as the opportunities that they are present, and we need to educate them. And this is why the example I will give you is not about like our fraud monitoring solutions, which can process in milliseconds millions, billions of transactions, or our AML solutions. What I will tell you is an internal initiative that we have at Mastercard. Every month, a phishing email is sent to every employee of Mastercard. But they do it so well that it is almost impossible to differentiate it from any genuine email. But having said that, of course, everyone has taken a training about how to differentiate a genuine email and a phishing email. And they do it so well, you might be tempted to click on it. And the moment you click on it, boom, you get the warning. This was a phishing attack.
Yeah.
But the level of awareness across the company increased so well, everyone is now making fun of that. Have you seen last phishing attempt? This is how we start protecting our entity. Then we will take it to the next level. But again, I think we always need to keep in mind that everything starts with people. We need to train, educate everyone about these risks and increase the overall level of awareness. For instance, something really basic. Banks never and will never ask for your PIN through WhatsApp or phone or anything. It will never happen. It is as simple as this. But still, many people fall into this trap. Dubai police is calling you and they're asking for your PIN. No one will ask your PIN in that manner. It is a very simple thing, but unfortunately, because people are not educated
Everyone should know.
and the awareness has not been managed, we still see people suffering from that. So let's get started with people. The rest we will handle.
Of course, that's something to think about. Thank you, Mr. Mitte. Now, with Mr. Mohammed again. Is the current state of international security cooperation satisfactory, and what are the key ways it could be improved?
Well, it is not to the accepted level yet. And I'll give you one example. In the domain of AI, there was an AI summit in France some time ago.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the responsible AI document was supposed to be signed by many countries. Now, I don't want to mention the countries who refrained from signing those documents, but there seem to be, there are different level of standards when it comes even to each country. Because each country, they have a different level of security, they have different agenda when it comes to the national security. But this will not be addressed properly unless every single stakeholder, worldwide, international, they sit on the same table and they put down all the challenges with full transparency to address them. Other than that, security, privacy will always remain a big question mark when it comes to the use of to the AI.
So, in your view, how can AI help governments to connect better with the people?
Well, if we will take it from the context where I come from, let's say the infrastructure, transportation, and mobility,
Yeah.
is simplifying things to the customer. Now, the reason why we have AI and the reason why we employ AI everywhere, and I will quote His Excellency Minister Umar Al at the opening remarks for the Machines Can See. He said, we are doing all of this to improve the quality of life of the people. So the main advantage of AI, now AI will never replace humans, like Mika said. It is everything revolves about us as humans. Okay? But the presence of AI and the think and the way how we have to adapt around AI should be how we are going to use AI to improve the quality of life of people. Now, by saying this, it is not as simple as employing AI. There is a lot of things that needs to happen, like mentioned by Meta. And yesterday, I had an interesting discussion with the Director General of the Dubai Digital Authority, His Excellency Mohammed Al Mudharreb. And I asked him a question that, are we socially ready for the invasion of AI? I think many of you here in this room will answer no. There is a lot of work that needs to happen, a lot of adaptation, and this is the case with any new technology, by the way. Remember, during the early days when we had a built-in camera within the phone, there was a lot of rejection by many societies.
Right.
How can we use this? And even with the introduction of Bluetooth, I believe, back in 1998 or 1996, there was a lot of question mark on how this is going to affect the communication, how this is going to affect social gatherings and so on. So this is the case with every single technology, but AI has a special case because AI is going to be part of our life whether we like it or not. But the thing is, we need to be ready for it. We need to prepare ourselves for it. We need to prepare the generation to come how to use it.
Yeah, totally agree. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Amit, how AI helping telecom companies to serve customers better?
There are a lot of ways that we are doing this. I think if you're talking about customers, let me talk about more on the customer experience side. And we spoke about chatbots and the power of chatbots. What we have done is we have our virtual chatbots now powered by GenAI. But we also talk about people, right? So but we still have agents who are serving our more high value clients. So people will always remain. So human in the loop will always remain. So that's one area where customer experience is completely being automated using chatbots. The other area is about hyper personalization. So we are trying to cater to customers based on their requirements, based on the communication channel that they want, based on the type of service or product that they want, and it's completely hyper personalized to them. The third area where we are doing, which is more internal to us, is on the network side. So we are trying to automate everything around the network side, bring in more efficiency, bring in more productivity. AI is going to be there in every piece of the network elements, and that will optimize our costs, our productivity, etc. So these are the three key areas where, and at the end of the day, we of course pass on the cost to the customers, the price to the customers, and that helps the customers as well. So these are three key areas where we are actually implementing AI.
Thank you so much. Mr. Amin, In percentage terms, how much AI is your life and work, and how much create new challenges?
I think if we think of the future, AI will be integrated in every aspect of our life at different age as well. Be it kids, student level, their teaching or their growth, even as an assistant, it will basically be, it will always be there. It will, you will interact with it even while you are not noticing. Because many of the transactions that you actually are interacting with at the moment will become anonymous, and it will become basically completely smooth interactions as we basically progress with it. There are many services that are going to become much more proactive, although we are at the stage where our services that are proactive, but the moment we reach at the stage where the agents are actually taking the actions based on the contextual data that they are understanding, then our interactions with the systems will become minimal. And it will become more of our digital twins interacting with AI and interacting with systems actually much more than us. That's what I would say. I would say we will see in the future more merge between a lot of emerging techs, such as what we have seen maybe today in the opening keynotes between AI and virtual reality and augmented reality. And we will see that is changing industries like education, healthcare, legislation system, for example. We have heard the news of how His Highness Sheikh Mohammed would like to basically revamp the policy making and the law system in UAE based on AI analyzing tremendous amount of data. In the future, I believe that there will be AI will be in every single interaction, but we will not feel it because most of the cases it's not us even interacting with it.
Yeah, right, insightful. Mr. Mithil, in what ways does AI help Mastercard stop fraud?
Well, as I tried to explain, we have a multi-layered approach when it comes to managing fraud. We have solutions that we have developed over time for fraud monitoring, or identity risk assessment, scoring, transaction scoring. And these are the tools that we leverage on a day-to-day basis. And we, in fact, enable our ecosystem to utilize these tools so that we can manage fraud properly. But at the same time, again, I mean, just protecting your house is not enough. You need to protect the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's why we need to educate the ecosystem. We are, organizing incident response exercises with government entities, with financial institutions. How would you react when you are under attack? How many institutions have prepared themselves for that? What are the first reactions that you need to take? Unfortunately, many organizations, despite their size, are still not equipped with the experience. Maybe they don't have the experience, but they don't know the process and the framework to manage such an incident. That's why we try to prepare everyone for such a case, because it will happen. I mean, if I say that, this is not going to happen anymore, it's not true. We will see more and more of these attacks, but as long as we act as a team together, we share experience, we share data, and we collaborate, I think this is the only way to beat it. It is going to happen, it's going to get worse, but if we partner, I think we can really beat it.
Thank you, Mr. Mete. Now, let's go to something more fun. Okay, I want you to use your imagination also for the audience. So, if I want to ask you, starting with Mr. Muhammad, where do you see AI heading in the next 5 to 10 years? And what role do you believe it will play in shaping our future? Guys, I think there's a problem with the mic. Really? How many minutes do we have?
Yeah.
Really?
If you can finish with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next
this
question,
is the
definitely.
last question. Okay. We need
This one.
time flies. I'm sorry. Okay. It's working?
Yes.
Okay.
So where does it go in the future now? Let's not look at the different versions of LLM that we see because we don't see this as a future of AI.
Yeah.
Something that was mentioned by Meta a while ago, connected intelligence. Now today AI is dependent heavily on the data being fed by different systems, and many of these systems they don't produce data that are ready for AI. Now imagine when we have AI in most of our services and most of our processes, those those AI agents or those AI tools will start generating its own data. Now, once you reach that stage and you will have the general intelligence of artificial intelligence, imagine a city that is self-aware, that manages itself by itself, heals itself, fixes itself, dispatch things by itself. So sky is the limit.
I love that. Thank you so much. Mr. Amin.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult question because, like Mohammed was saying, things are changing so quickly. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Which LLM is going to become better and how. But we're already talking about AGI, artificial general intelligence. We also talk about AI becoming better than humans very soon, taking over supercomputers or artificial super intelligence, which is ASI after AGI. So basically, what we are saying is it's going to come sooner than later. AGS was expected to come in by 2030. We are talking about coming in 2025 or 26. Yeah. So AI being as good as humans in terms of intelligence. Don't know so much about creativity and imagination, but yes, at least in terms of intelligence, yes. So that's going to happen pretty soon. Don't know about next 5 years, but all I can say is, and I like to quote His Highness Omar Ministry of AI, when he said that when AI does not feel like AI, so he mentioned how our e-gates are so successful, and we don't feel that there is an AI working there, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen in the future where we don't feel AI is around us or with us because it's everywhere, actually.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Mr. Amin.
Very quick, I can't agree more. I believe the LLMs will become commodities, but we will just start using many of them. I will basically touch on the same topic that I mentioned. I believe that there will be more personalized AI agents that are going to help us in guiding us in our career, on our education, on our personal development. Seamless without us actually realizing that we are interacting with these systems and these technologies. I wonder in the future if we will be hired because of our personal skills or because of the strength of our AI agent, our digital twin. But yeah, so
Echoing your comments, imagine that you have the best personal assistant on earth working for you 24/7. You don't pay a salary, I mean, this is unbelievable, right? And this is going to be possible in less than a year. Next year, we will be using personal agents.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mette. It was a great panel discussion. Thank you so much for our audience.